everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
Story time about how my middle school and high school teacher hated my guts all throughout school, and her husband ended up being madly in love with me and literally had a mental breakdown over me. Me and my friends think that this story is such a gag to this day. It might have to be 2 parts because this story is just long and just crazy. I went to a art school for middle school and high school, and there my magnet was theater, and I had this theater teacher. Let's call her Miss J. Oh, Miss J was so mean to me, you guys. Whenever she saw me, her whole demeanor just changed. She did not like me at all, and for absolutely no reason, you guys. I was raised to be very respectful to my elders, so I would never like cuss out a teacher. I wasn't late. I didn't skip school. I was a really good kid. So me and my friends, we were always like, why the hell is she always so mean to you? And she was also very weirdly judgy towards me. I've always been very naturally thin, but when I was in middle school and high school, I was probably 5'7" and 105 pounds on a good day. I was very skinny. I always got called skinny names, right? So my shorts and my skirts and stuff, they were a little short. They were. She would always be like, Germany, that skirt or those shorts are way too short, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, girl, like I could see if all the teachers were like, Germany, that's a little bit inappropriate. Then I could be like, okay, maybe they're right. She was the only one that ever said that out of my 6 years. Almost every other day, she would make me put on this long ass skirt, and it's called a modesty cloth. So just think of a big, long, ugly, flowy maxi skirt. And it got to the point every time I went to her class, she would tell me to put this skirt on. So I just started putting on the skirt before I even went into the room. I just would go into the costume closet and just put on the skirt because I'm like, I know she's gonna say something. Basically sums up our whole relationship. She did not like me, and I would avoid her at all costs. Like if I saw her coming down the hallway, I would turn the other way and just go a different way so I could avoid her. Okay, so boom, now I've graduated. I'm out of school. I never have to see her again. So now I'm a Hooters girl, and I'm working there, and I'm hustling and bustling to make money. And there's this one guy, he's always at the bar, but all the girls would circle around him, so I knew he was like a really good tipper. One day I'm walking by the bar, and he stops me, and he's like, hey, I think you are absolutely beautiful. I'm just like, thank you so much. You know, I'm being nice to him because he obviously tips that, and that was a nice compliment. And so the next day he comes in and he sits with me and he's like, tell me more about yourself. And I tell him where I go to high school, and he's like, wait, my wife works at that high school. First of all, let's call him Mr. J. And he is literally about 5'2", and he probably weighs, I'm not even kidding you guys, 90 pounds. And he is very flamboyant. What I mean by that is he is a total Devo. This is how he talks. It's like, hello, darling. Like, do you like my suit? Like, I look so fabulous, don't I? I'm like, he talks like that. And every single day he would wear like a 3-piece suit. Back to the original story, he was like, my wife works at that school. And he was like, well, not my wife. She's about to be my ex-wife. We're getting a divorce. And I'm like, okay, who is it? And then he's like, do you know a Miss J? And I'm like, shut up. I'm like, that was my theater teacher. And he was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Anyway, Mr. J now becomes my regular. He just comes in every single day to come see me. But then he starts bringing me in gifts that I did not ask for. I had an Android, right? And it was just like a crappy little phone, like whatever. He sees it and he's like, what's that? I'm like, it's my crappy phone. And he's like, oh my gosh, girl. And I'm like, I know. A couple days later, he comes in and he gifts me a new iPhone. I was like, what? I was like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. And he was like, yeah, that was the first gift. Then I was telling him about how I wanted to start my YouTube career. A couple days later, he brings me in a camera to record on. I'm thinking we are just like the best of pals. He's super funny. Like I told you, he talks like a diva. He talks like a real housewife. Little did I know, He's literally falling in love with me. Now let's go back to when he said that he was getting a divorce from my theater teacher. The reason why they got a divorce is so crazy. It was so bad that she left the school. She left the state because of how embarrassed she was about what went down. If you guys want to know why they got a divorce, that's just like a whole video in itself, and I will let you know. One of the Hooters girls that was like a mutual friend of ours, she moved like states away, and my birthday was coming up, so he surprised me and he was like, hey, I got us plane tickets and hotel tickets to go see our friend. I was like, what? Like, why would you think that I would go on a plane and like stay at a hotel with you? Before I get into his mental breakdown, let me tell you guys why they ended up getting a divorce. My theater teacher's husband's dad was apparently in the mafia. Like I said, he's from Italy and he was rich, and his dad apparently was in the mafia, okay? So the FBI, like, I'm not making this up, the FBI was gathering data about his dad and the mafia and all this kind of stuff, right? And they thought that he had some ties to the mafia. So the FBI came inside of my high school, went to my theater teacher's room while class was in session, told her in front of everyone that they have to take her computer because they are doing an investigation on her husband and they need her computer as evidence. So they confiscate her big old monitor and they take it out of the school. And if you know my theater teacher, you know that she was such a drama queen. She was so snooty. The fact that this was happening to her was so embarrassing for her that she filed for divorce from him, and she packed up and she moved states away to go work at another school. She finished out that little school year and she said, deuces, like, this is way too much for me. I'm too embarrassed. I guess everything ended up working out and he didn't end up going to jail, but yeah, that definitely happened. Okay, back to his mental breakdown. So he told me that he got these tickets and this hotel room for us to go see our friend. And I was like, wait, what? No. I'm like, thanks. Like, I don't know what to say. I'm just nervous. I'm at work. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Anyway, the weekend comes and we're supposed to like go off, and I'm like, I'm not going. So I text him and I'm like, yo, I'm not going with you. I'm actually going to New York with my friends for my birthday, which is what I did. I went to New York with my friends and I had a great time. So while I'm gone to New York, this is when we were supposed to go to Houston. He goes inside of my job to Hooters, disheveled. Usually he has on a 3-piece suit. His hair is always combed back. The girls at my job are texting me and they're like, Mr. J is in here and he's acting insane, and he's acting like he is so depressed and so upset at you for going to New York and not going to Houston with him. I'm like, what? Like, girl, he looks crazy. Just think of like a guy that's always super, super put together. And then he comes in with his shirt all unbuttoned and like off on the side, his hair crazy, his pants like hanging down, like looking like an actual bum, and telling everyone that he's so depressed and so sad that you didn't go with him. And that's why he's acting and looking like this. So obviously I'm so embarrassed because I'm like, dude, you're making people think that we have something going on and there's absolutely nothing going on. Why are you that upset that I didn't go with you? And I went to New York with my actual friend. I did not ask you to buy any tickets. I didn't ask you for any of this stuff. You just keep giving it to me. And when I finally was like, absolutely not, I'm not going with you there, you're acting like I'm like ruining your life. So I guess he goes into Hooters like a couple more times looking crazy like that and acting all depressed and like just at the table with his head down and like just acting so insane, you guys. Finally text him and I'm like, yo, you need to stop coming into my job. You need to stop acting crazy. I'm like, this is completely unacceptable. You are freaking me out. He sends me a text or he calls me, something that's happened so many years ago. He's like, Germany, I'm so in love with you. Like, you are just everything. You're my dream girl. I want to marry you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I have to cut you all the way off. You cannot come into my job anymore. I don't want to see you anymore. Please don't come in. Leave me alone. I literally have a boyfriend. You are weird. And it's just so crazy to me that my theater teacher was with a guy like that. Like, anyway, I cut him off and it was like, I don't know, however long later, he like came in again to like see me and I'm just like, hey, what's up? And he was like normal again. But he only came in like maybe one or two other times and then I didn't see him for maybe like a year, and then he would just come in like yearly. Talk to him in maybe like 5 years. I wonder how he's doing. I wonder if he's alive. I cannot believe that he acted like that. So before I get into the whole tea about my teacher finding out about all of this, I'm going to clear up a few things that I've been seeing in the comments. So first, a lot of people think I was in high school and I definitely wasn't. When I started working at Hooters, I was definitely 21. I think I misspoke in my first video, but I was definitely not a minor. Next, a lot of you thought that I was leading him on because I was accepting the gifts and you guys felt like I should not have taken the gifts. First of all, I never would ask him for anything. The conversation could go something like, oh yeah, I really want to start my YouTube. Like, I just need to save up for a camera, blah, blah, blah. I never was asking him for anything. He would just show up with it. And that really was not unheard of at Hooters. Actually, that happens all the time. A lot of you wanted to know why I did not tell my mom that my theater teacher was so mean to me. And it's honestly because if I would have told my mom about that, she would have went up to my school and acted a fool. And I know my mother. I love my mother. I know how that would have went down. And I really just didn't want the school to get flipped upside down. Because the first time that my theater teacher would have like said something smart to my mom would have turned all the way up. And I also had to deal with this lady every day for 6 years. So I just didn't want any problems. And another thing I saw was a lot of you felt bad for Mr. J. I want you to know that any man that goes inside of Hooters every single day is a creep. You know what you're doing. This is not a normal restaurant. You know what you are doing. Do not feel bad for him. I really don't think you guys are picturing this guy correctly. I'm really gonna try to paint a picture. So think of a 5'2" on a good day man. He's very, very, very skinny, about 90 pounds. He has this like comb over situation that's obviously balding. He has on this 3-piece suit like an Italian mobster. His demeanor and how he talks is kind of like Todd Chrisley from the Chrisleys, but he's Italian and he has this really thick Jersey accent. Now, let me give a really good impersonation. This is how he would come in. He'd be like, darling, oh my God, traffic was just a mess. Please get me a cup of coffee. I gotta talk this over. Then he'd be like, oh, you look so fabulous today, darling. You look beautiful. Oh my gosh, you're so stunning. But that's how he would talk, and he would kiki and be like, darling, let me just tell you about my divorce. You gotta just know all the ins and outs, darling. Like, that's him. That's how he talks. And so he's just he's so girly. He's so feminine. There was just absolutely no romance between us at all. So when you guys say that I was leading him on, I'm like, no, I wasn't. He's just crazy. Another thing you guys were wondering about was why didn't my job do anything when he was acting crazy? It's Hooters. They don't care about anything. They don't care at all. And Mr. J was so harmless, you guys. He wasn't a threat. So it was just kind of, I never felt threatened by him. It was just more embarrassing. Well, in this part, I'm going to tell you about how my teacher found out. This whole story is so messy. And the best part is I have screenshots. So these screenshots are going to be between me and the student assistant theater teacher. Let's call her Miss Honey. Let me just give you a little background to you. She was so nice, you guys. She was exactly what a teacher should have been. She was a student teacher, so she was like young and relatable and funny, and I literally loved Miss Honey so much. So after we graduated, Miss Honey moved to New York. Okay, now let's get into the screenshots. So we were talking about something before this, but it was irrelevant. So she says, I miss you, Germ. Then she says, Miss J and I were talking about you when she was here. So Miss J went to New York, and I'm guessing her and Miss Honey had dinner. Then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see my friend, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we can all get together. And then she said there was some funny drama. And at that point, I was just, my heart kind of sank because, first of all, this whole situation was very, very embarrassing. So now that it's getting around was just like crazy for me. The fact that she knew about this was just too much. I really just got into the headspace of, I don't even want to know what she felt about the situation because I don't know, I just felt like I would get anxiety about that. I really just wanted this whole situation to go away. So that's why I really didn't pry when she said that. So that's why I was like, ooh, I'm shook, girl. Like, ooh. So I was like, yeah, her ex-husband comes into my job every single day. And this is how I found out that Miss J knew that her husband was obsessed with me. This man told my theater teacher that we were getting married, that apparently he has proposed to me, and I said I do. I'm just laughing it off and trying to downplay the whole situation. So I'm like, haha, he's crazy. And she's like, yeah. Honestly, you guys, this happened so many years ago, so I forgot about some of the things. But I said I think he's on drugs, and thinking back, like, yeah, I remember thinking this man has to be on drugs to be acting like this. He has to be coked out of his mind. Y'all, I went digging for these screenshots last night because I knew that I had this conversation with Miss Honey. So I'm like looking on Instagram and I forgot. So you guys remember when I said that he came into my job and he looked crazy? I forgot that this man, he obviously had dentures and he came in without his dentures as well. So he is... Remember, I'm telling you, his shirt's all messed up. He has coffee stains. His hair is all crazy. His pants are all loose and wrinkled and looks a mess. And this man also had the audacity to take out his teeth. I forgot about this. That's when I was like, oh my gosh, he's lost his mind. He took out his teeth and he was in there with no teeth, just gums. Gums talking to people. And to go from being all put together to having your teeth out and you looking like that, I was like, oh, he's crazy. He's on drugs. And so basically the conversation just ends with her saying, wow. And then I'm like, yeah, I know. But when I come to New York, let's get together. So she sends me her number and I send her hers. But I never talked to her about how my theater teacher felt about all of this. Because I knew it could only be one or two things. One, she hates me, or two, she still hates me. I knew that she wasn't going to say anything good or in my favor, so I just didn't even want that energy. I didn't press it. I didn't want to know. That's why I just kind of left it as is. I thought that those screenshots were such a gag, and some people thought I was making this up, but I'm like, I'm not making this up.
See, y'all don't believe her. She came with the screenshots. She came with the receipts. Well, you know, hey, man, listen. It is what it is. I think, I'm going to be honest. She may seem like she's playing it off like, hey, you know, there was nothing. She didn't ask for it. You don't have to ask, man. We know it's Hooters, what guys do. Like, we know the game, you know what I mean? So for her to downplay that, you know, when guys get conversation out of you, it's to get information about you. So when you start telling them stuff and they get you what you asking for, that's them love bombing you, which is to get you to do stuff, get you to be with them. That's why he got you the tickets to go see your friends, the hotel and the plane tickets. So he was expecting you to be like, hey, I'm down to go. You didn't go for it, but you still took the phone. I mean, it's a phone. Like, really, like, we're not gonna act like it's not nothing, but it's not nothing. Like, it is what it is. But she is trying to downplay it like she ain't do nothing. Like, we know whatever. So, I mean, honestly, she might have not asked for it, but but she wanted it and a man gave it to her. So he was trying to trick off on her. But either she was too naive or stupid, and I don't think she's stupid. maybe naive, but you know, definitely not stupid. Um, yeah, everybody. Yeah, we can make screenshots. I get it. I get it. We can make screenshots. I mean, if you want to go that far to make a story, I get it. If you want to go that far to make a story, go ahead. But I don't think it's that. Mind you, you're not gonna make that much money on TikTok. We already settled that, right? Remember.